Welcome to Heat Check, powered by Defunct.com. This is the top 10 highest selling 3D emblem t-shirts over the last 3 years on eBay. All right, coming in at number 10, we have the Rebel County 3D emblem. For some of these, I'm not going to have a lot of photos of because these are sales that have happened over the last 3 years, so we don't have a lot of photos. We just get one photo in our confirmation service that we use to confirm the prices that these sold for. But this one's pretty dope. Definitely not my favorite, but you'll catch a theme here of Rebel, Confederate, South, lots of those elements in these t-shirts. This one sold for $1,300. Then at number 9, we have the Silver Dollar Saloon 3D emblem. One of my more favorites. I actually like this design. It's pretty cool. You'll see a lot of this stuff, a lot of Western themes. 3D emblems have been getting a lot of attention lately. Lots and lots of crazy large sales, and these 3D emblems seem to maintain their value. This one is no different. This one is a fairly rare one. This was the highest selling version of this design, and it sold for $1,350. All right, then coming in at number 8, we have a 3D emblem that is not a Harley Davidson. It's still motorcycle themed, but this is an Easy Rider magazine 3D emblem t-shirt. Easy Rider was like a motorcycle magazine in the 80s. It's still around, I think still around today, but they definitely made t-shirts into the 90s, but it's the 3D emblem versions from the mid to late 80s that are all the rage. This one is a way of life. This one did pretty well. These Easy Rider ones are not easy to come by. They just weren't printed as much, but this one sold for $1,350 as well. Then at number 7, we have the first of two different "The South is Where It's At" t-shirts. "The South is Where It's At" is sort of a catchphrase that 3D emblem used quite often. Lots of Southern references that you'll see as we go through here. But this one is a fairly unusual and hard to find design with the steamboat or whatever those kind of boats are called. But this one did just fine. You'll find a few other "South is Where It's At" designs. Some are less savory than others, but this one does plenty well when it gets found and sold. This one sold for $1,450. Then at number 6, we have another Easy Rider. This is the Ride Far. I apologize for the lack of photo on this one because this is the best photo we have in the archive. But it's worth noting that 3D Emblem didn't just make t-shirts for Harley or Easy Rider. They made them for companies like Truckers Only. They did stuff for I think some wilderness, wildlife themed companies and printers and designs and artworks. But this one right here did just fine. It sold for $1,500. All right, at number 5, we have the Harley-Davidson Bad to the Bone. You're going to notice a theme here with some of these higher-end 3D emblems, hogs, pigs, stuff like that. Definitely a recurring theme, but this one is a classic. There's a lot of sales of this one. This is one of the more notorious ones and have lots of sales. This is actually not the exact t-shirt with the record here. This is the best picture we could find. But either way, this one sold just fine for $1,750. Then at number 4, we have another South is Where It's At. This one's the one that sports the Confederate flag. This one can sometimes get banned from eBay because the Confederate flag gets removed oftentimes from listings, especially if you mention it. But this one made it through just fine. This is a fairly well sought after design. A lot of these end up going overseas like Thailand or Japan. But here on this South is Where It's At, this one is sold for $1,840. At number 3, we have the Party Animals again with the hogs. The hog theme is strong. This is one of my favorite 3D emblems. Just love the design, wacky, fun design here. This one is a very sought after 3D emblem, and it has many sales in the 4 figures. In the upper 4 figures here, we have this one that broke the record and sold for $2,000. A lot of sales in the $1,600 to $1,800 range, but this one tops it out. Now at number 2, this is a curiosity because we're starting to really pick up some speed. This is one of the reasons we're doing this video as a specialty, because these Harley 3D emblems have been selling for a lot. This is the second most valuable Harley Davidson 3D emblem that has sold in the last 3 years on eBay. And it happened recently. This is a recent, within the last month. I think this was featured maybe 2 heat checks ago, or maybe in the last heat check. This is the Riding Hogs Picking Up Chicks. This one sold for $2,274. Now, before we get to number 1, if you're going to spend a fortune like on one of these t-shirts on this list, make sure that it's authentic by using the legitimate app in the description below. Use code LoopFan for 25% off your authentication. Now for the number 1 spot. This is the most expensive 3D emblem Harley t-shirt that has sold in the last 3 years on eBay. And it just sold this week. This would have been the number 1 spot on the normal heat check, and it still makes the number 1 spot on this specialty. This is the Road Rebel 3D emblem hog t-shirt. This one goes for a lot of money. There have been multiple sales in the last few years of $3,000, $3,500, but this one tops it all at $4,300. Sometimes the prices of these vary because of what city or state is represented on the back, but this one definitely takes the cake. Big time money.